In this episode of The Beautiful Mess with Jane and Jess, we get a whole new perspective on screens.
We shed a few tears.
And we vowed to become Minecraft moms.
And we embrace how important it is to be bored.
The importance of boredom. Welcome to The Beautiful Mess with Jane
and Jess.
What we wanted to chat about today is a pretty contentious issue, really. And if I'm listening to mums in my tribe, my village, my community, it seems like we're all kind of saying the same thing. And that is the struggle of managing our children and this addiction. I know it's a pretty heavy word, but this addiction and craving for screen time and technology. I know that Jess and I collectively have 5 children under the age of 12. And in our homes at the moment, it is a very real thing. I think for me, it's kind of a double-edged sword because when they have screen time, it gives Mike and I, my husband, time to enjoy a glass of wine or sit and chat, not in catchphrases and monosyllabatical words. We can actually get into a bit of an ebb and flow for half an hour or so. But man, do we pay for it. Because the children that left asking for their screens come back almost like someone's pulled a veil. We call it mushy brain. It's like they're actually unable to integrate into the family again. It's very jarred. It's very snappy. It's quite intolerant. And then I also find that the conversation is mainly about this world that they've created. So it's speaking about the mob in Minecraft and being able to get the different blocks to create the world. And I'm all about the imagination. I can see the creativity. I can see the joy. But it worries me that my children integrate so beautifully and seamlessly in a virtual world, and they aren't able to bring that into reality. It actually scares the beep out of me.
You know what, Jane? Last Sunday at my in-laws' house, Tom and I are just trying to have a dignified meal. We are exhausted. We're tired. So we give them their iPads because we just want them to leave us alone. They want to play their iPads. We're not, begging them to do this. They're desperate to do it. They are in separate rooms fighting in a virtual world. They are in the Minecraft world. And one of them has gone and taken the other person's loot out of their chest. So they are having a fight over toys. They are fighting over toys from different rooms. I'm like, what planet are we living on now? And the one kills the other one in Minecraft, pushes him off a cliff or whatever, takes his nether sword and whacks him, and poof, he goes. So now this one child is lying on the lounge floor, weeping in despair because all of his loot is gone, because his brother, who we currently cannot see, is in the bedroom down the hall, killed him. Jane, I can't. What do we do? What do we do?
And I mean, how many times have we been, I don't even know how to put it into words, sabotaged through our earlobes by this incessant drivel and drool that comes out. Here, I'm going to play you a little bit of what it sounds like 24 hours a day. Hold on. This is my life. Hold on.
About creating a Minecraft world.
Minecraft is a very, very confusing but very, very nice game. It is among one of my top 3 games, and then you log in and there's stuff called mobs, like animals, but they try to attack you. They can burn off, and so skeletons, but if any of them are wearing helmets or stuff to protect their head, they can resist the daylight, and creepers can explode. And
this goes on for days. And I'm trying to be that mom that actually cares, but I feel the veil coming down.
Yeah.
When I hear a nether or a mob or a helmet, I just blank out. And I know I should be showing more interest in what they're doing, but I'm digging deep and battling. I'm losing the war here. And the will to live at times, to be fair.
You know, Jane, I feel like Minecraft turns our kids into mobs. So here's the tension. We need these screens, not just because it gives us a little bit of free time, a little bit of time for a dignified conversation with another adult, but because they use them for school, they use them to connect with their friends, There's a necessity to them, there's a benefit to them, there's a downside to them. How do we manage the tension between those three factors associated with Minecraft or screens in general?
Oh, it's not just Minecraft. I mean, we can talk about Pokemon Go. We can talk about Roblox. We can talk about Fortnite.
YouTube.
We can talk about YouTube. My children's aspiration for their lives. Thank goodness it's moved away from unwrapping presents that are wrapped. That's all they used to watch, is those people that unwrap Kinder eggs or toys of sorts, which for me was just feeding into this mass consumerism thing of wanting and needing. Okay. So thank goodness we've moved away from that. But my children's aspiration for their little lives are to be world famous billionaire YouTubers. That is what they want to do with their lives. When I was young, what did I want to do? I either wanted to be a cashier, I either wanted to be an actress, or I wanted to be a mom from a small age. But these kids see these people that are doing 24-hour challenges and spray painting Lamborghinis, and the last person in the Lamborghini gets to keep the Lamborghini, which for me, again, feeds into that whole thing that when I was young, if I wanted something, I had to work towards it. Mm-hmm. And these people that they're watching on TikTok and YouTube, it seems to be this instant gratification. I'm so nervous that we are raising a generation of children that are feeding into this entitlement and not actually really having to work hard for anything. That's terrifying to me.
I think that what you've just said is so important because we didn't grow up with this. So there's nothing to reference. We're trying to assess and do the right thing as parents, as moms. We're trying to do the right thing. We're trying to do the right thing from an external perspective. We've never lived it. We haven't lived what they're living. And so we have to somehow take the feedback they give us. I mean, Lula gave you some feedback on how she feels about her relationship with Minecraft. Like, this is what we have to take what they say and the wisdom, untested wisdom, not lived experience, and figure out a way forward.
It was really scary because, I've got 3 kids. I've got an 11-year-old son and twins of 9 years old. My daughter's very worldly. And when I sat down and chatted to her and asked her what screen time meant to her, I don't think she realized, but it actually knocked a bit of the wind out of my lungs. Here, I want to play it for you.
Your thoughts on, young people and screen time?
I think that screen time always brings joy to them. But I think also sometimes it's also bad if you have too much. But I think that without screen time, I wouldn't be me.
And there's the bomb drop. Without screen time, I wouldn't be me. And it's interesting because I sat and I thought about that. And I don't think that I had looked at their screen connection as a sense of belonging, a sense of identity, a sense of community. I always just see it as escapism, and then I get these mushy zombies back. And let me tell you, I've played hardball with my kids. I was reading Untamed by Glennon Doyle, and she spoke about how her son's screen time basically took away his magic. And I could see this happening about a year ago with my eldest. And I kept saying, boy, if you're not going to be able to integrate into the family like you're integrating into Minecraft, we're going to have to help you detach yourself. And it was getting worse and worse and worse. And I realized I needed to take the lead on it. And then he stupidly had a friend over, and they thought it would be such fun to climb onto the roof and break off a piece of the fascia board on the roof and see how far they could lob it over the swimming pool. And I lost my mure. I didn't behave very, very well. But I took his cell phone away for 8 months. I was so enraged. And I realized that I had to do something dramatic. And I locked it in the safe. And it was hard on me. My mom kept saying, wow, you've taken the hard road here, because I'm the one that's having to deal with the moaning and the groaning, and not for a week, not for a day. I had to make it count. I had to make a statement, and it was made. But ask me where we are now a year later. We're back in that space. We're back in that space of the magic being taken away. We're back in that space that if they're not on the screen, they're asking when they can be on the screen. So it's kind of the state of waiting and anticipation. So even though their boundaries set up that they know they can play within those parameters, it's this longing, this desire to be there. And I don't know how to balance what's happening on screen. And sure, the world's changed, jobs are different, and I believe that the children and their integration online can possibly serve them in a world that we don't know ahead of us. But I feel as parents, we kind of caught between being half in and half out. It's like we're cusping on knowing how to deal with it. And then on the other hand, Darren, we are the ones that are also sitting with our cell phones saying, monkey see, monkey do. Like, put your phone down, but you're on your phone. Yeah, but I'm emailing someone, bro. And then I'm on Instagram myself. I've also got to watch myself on social media like a hawk because it's so easy to get caught up.
Yeah, but you know what, you said something, it reminded me of this guy, Andy Stanley. He said, some things are not problems to be solved, they're tensions to be managed. And the cycle in our family is that it's not we don't resolve it, and it ebbs and flows. So we'll be in like a good space where I can see that they can like willfully and consciously put their iPads down before the timer runs out and go outside and play. And then I can see it accumulate, and they can't. They come off their screens and they're wild and they're crazy and they can't integrate into the family, and then we need a detox. And so I'm wondering if, because we haven't done this before, because, you know, there's so much speculation and untested wisdom out there about screens and parenting, that we almost have to accept that we are not going to find the formula to fix this problem. And so I've been wrestling with, are there some like timeless principles that are applicable whether you are, because our kids have different personalities, some like are into their screens and some aren't, some can get off by themselves, some need, like you said, you know, you've got to actually manage it for him and step in and say, I'm going to turn it off because you can't. What are like the timeless principles that apply in and amongst all these questions and unresolved problems that we can't solve? They're just tensions we have to manage. And one of the things I think is super timeless about parenting and maybe we have to use our imaginations to figure out how to pull it into screen time, is connection. Are we playing the equivalent of board games on screens? Or do we decide we're going to sit and watch a Minecraft walkthrough and ask questions? So, for example, I took my kids one-on-one camping 24 hours off the grid. I've never done it before. I decided, you know, let's just do mom and son night away. And we didn't have screens because there wasn't signal and there wasn't electricity to charge, which was helpful. I didn't have to fight. I didn't have to say, no, we're not doing that. It just wasn't an option. But we were walking through this forest. I said to my son, hey, if we were in Minecraft, what kind of biome would this be? And where would you spawn if you were walking in here? And off he went on this whole like story. And he was telling me all about how it works and what it did and telling me all these worlds. And it made me think, sure, have I just been so either throw my hands up in the air and be like, whatever, I don't care, you can have screens, this is just how the world is, or no, we're not going to do this, I'm taking them away, like swing from one extreme to the other, when there are ways to take where they get their identity from, take what brings them joy, but keep the connection. Because what I hate about screens is when it breaks connection. If it's not breaking connection, I actually don't mind it. But when it breaks connection, that's when it has a problem, when it becomes a problem for me.
I agree. Ask me how different my son was with not having a phone in his life.
How different was your son without having a phone in his life?
Well, let me tell you. He was engaged. He went back to that imagination stage and that space where you can make toys out of different pieces of things. It gave him access to use his imagination. And I think as parents in this day and age, we're all hustling, not with one side hustle, but multiple revenue streams just to keep the wheels moving. We sometimes opt for not allowing our children to get to that place of boredom where they have to push through into imagination. Yeah. It's too easy to pass the cell phone or the tablet over. Yeah. And I saw a difference in him. And he would often say to me, Mom, I feel so free without my phone. And this was only after about 3 months. It took a long time to almost re-pattern and program him from a cellular level, being dependent on his own boredom to give him the doorway into free play. So that was really interesting to watch. The connection point is really a huge thing for me as well. because I'll give you an example. On the way to school this morning, I thought to myself, I have to be more interested in what makes them excited. I have to, even though it's so hard, I have to. And I found a Minecraft question and answer thing on the internet. I basically typed in Minecraft Q&A and it came up with 20 questions. So on the way to school this morning, Lula was the quiz master and the boys played against each other. I can't tell you how much fun we had. I don't know what they were talking about. It was like talking another foreign language, but it was actually a wonderful ride to school. It got a little bit, intense because I said that before you, and kids be kids. But as you say, connecting on a level where they feel like we care.
Yeah.
Because I feel like so many times there's such a narrative around screens that they almost have to defend their purpose. And someone said to me the other day, because we've just come through a weekend of taking their phones away again. And I hadn't thought about the fact that my daughter, who's very worldly and into pop culture and into finding out new artists that have broken overnight on YouTube shorts and speaking about the Super Bowl performance and very, very worldly, how I had severed her connection to society from Friday to going to school on Monday, with her having big gaps in what makes her socially buoyant with her friends. And I think we forget about that too. Our kids are connecting at school regarding and around things like, I'll give you some names from Pokemon. Greninja and Froakie. And what about a bit of a Jigglypuff or Pokeballs or the evolution of Froakie to Froakie? Or girlfriend.
We're taking away their social currency by cutting them off. And it's not digital social currency. It's in-person, relational, on the playground, chatting. I love what you're saying. So I feel like, Lula said, I wouldn't know who I am, but there's also like a purposeful identity thing and social connecting. And I'm wondering if, I'm looking at our conversation and thinking, taking an interest in what they're interested in, because attacking the medium feels to them like we're attacking them because they are the medium. They're like, I am my Minecraft profile. It has my name on it. I have poured my heart and soul into this Minecraft profile. So when you say the stupid Minecraft, it's making you dumb or it's making you so antisocial, you're so rude, it's not attacking. We think we're tuning an external, outside force, but for them, it's a personal attack. And so that's a consciousness I think we can use to connect and take an interest and honor them, but also shape them and form them. And that's going to feel like counterintuitive, perhaps. And the other thing I think it's so great that you've said, Jane, is boredom. And I'm picturing this little pendulum swing between immersing ourselves in what they care about and then taking it away so they can immerse themselves in things that are good for them. And that's giving ourselves permission to say, you know what, I'm letting you, Sunday afternoon, you guys play an hour and a half of Minecraft, Dad, and I want to have a nap. Or, hey, you know what, you've had a long day at school. Let's watch a Minecraft video for 20 minutes, but this time I'm going to watch with you and we're going to chat about it. And we're going to like, oh, wow, that's so funny. And can't believe you did that, and get into the lingo and learn about it. So it's a connection point as opposed to a numbing, escaping thing. And I'm wondering if we haven't demonized it and been afraid of it, but also being fully aware of its dangers. Like that's the tension to manage.
Yeah. We went away in December with friends, and one of my very dear friends had made a conscious decision that she would sit with their 14-year-old son and watch him in one of his virtual worlds doing something. And she said to me, Cooper, my son, had said to her, my mom's the best mom, but you do something better than my mom. And she said, oh, what's that? And he said, all I wish for is for my mom to sit next to me and watch me play.
Boy.
And I still find it so difficult because I've got the triggers that this is numbing you, robbing you of your imagination, zoning you out, disconnecting you from reality. So maybe I've got to do the work. maybe the work is actually on my side at repositioning how I feel about something that brings them so much joy, but just be really strong and hold on to the pole of the boundary around the joy.
I love that. Jane, the thing is, we're doing the work already. We're putting in massive amounts of energy into trying to manage their screen time. It's one of the most draining things I certainly do. And so what if I redirected that, like you say, into sitting and watching a Minecraft video for 15 minutes, whatever. And I feel like I'm working my butt off already. If I can redirect the work to do the work of being present and engaging in something that is a part of who they are. We've both been exposed to the beautiful content from contemporary parenting. And one of the lines that stayed with me that Colleen Wilson and Candace Smith taught me was connect before you direct. And I wonder if we're trying to direct our kids' relationship with screen time, but we haven't connected with our kids' relationship with screen time. And we got to do both. It's not just connect and it's free reign and there's no boundaries, no limitations. But I think I certainly lean towards just directing and not connecting in that world with that part of who they are and how they express themselves.
I mean, let's think about this for a moment. As a mom, we are our children's sun, moon, and stars. So can you imagine having that person not care about what brings you joy? Makes me feel like teary. It makes me feel like I'm so flippin' sorry that I haven't shown interest. I'm so sorry that I haven't looked at pages and pages of made-up worlds. I'm so sorry that I haven't given a toss, really.
And Jane, what if screens are hurting our kids? Not because they're screens, but because we're not there.
I know, Jess, this is such I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd be sitting here covered in goosebumps with eyes full of tears while my kids are at school. And I feel like just saying, get your phone out and let's build a world together, bro, with rainbow bridges. And
like moms of Minecraft unite. Like,
yes.
I wonder, and if there's anyone listening out there who does this, please let us know. Are there any parents out there who play with their kids online? Like, are there any parents who are playing Minecraft? Or, I mean, I don't know. My kids are just super into Minecraft. They also have Nintendo Switches and they play some of the Switch games. And my husband plays those games with them.
I must be honest, we've got a Wii. We got the kids a Wii console because we like the idea of it being a connection point for all of us. So we sit and re-race Mario Karts.
Yes.
And we play Mario Brothers. I love that. I'm all for that. But it's the disconnect where everyone moves into different spaces in the house with the device. Yes. That I hate so much. I can just feel my blood rising while I'm talking about it.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because we got to trust our instincts, but our instincts have not been formed and created in the same world that the kids are growing up in. So there's going to be some counterintuitive stuff because it's a new landscape.
One other thing that Lula said, which was quite shocking to me in that conversation about screens at the age of 9, she said to me, and Mom, as you say, that before the age of 16, your brain is not developed. So why would I want to watch something that's going to make my undeveloped brain feel mushy? And I was just like, whoa, this is wild. Like, you are listening to some of the stuff I'm saying, because I've been known to say that to the children.
Totally. I feel like we've found things today that are going to help us.
Do they come in the form of a treasure chest and tools?
Yeah. Are they in our inventory now? Are the mobs coming for them?
I challenge you to create a Minecraft character, and I will create one, and I will find you in the virtual world. We've got it, bro. Let's get involved.
Howard, okay, I'm going to start a Minecraft profile. And I'm going to, I actually can't believe you said that. I'm really upset with you, but I'm going to do it because I'm competitive. I'm going to start a Minecraft world and I'm going to play with my kids. Not this weekend because they've had their screens taken away.
Well, my children have got them back, so an ideal place for me to start. What I also want to do is up on our Instagram page, I got an article from the most wonderful woman by the name of Elle Marie. She actually saw that psychologist Paul Bushell and I had advertised a Khan Tech workshop where we try and help parents kind of navigate through the stickiness of Khan Tech. And she's a qualified optometrist with interest in pediatrics and low vision. And she says, since the start of COVID or even before, because kids are allowed to access devices earlier on, we've seen a big trend in the age group of children becoming more short-sighted. And she goes into some kind of guidelines and tips and application. One of them, which I thought was really, really interesting, is that use good light in the room where your children are using their devices. I often will walk into a bedroom or a lounge and everyone's in a dark room with their screens on, with just their little faces lit. Yeah. So interesting, the connection between short-sightedness, and in particular, she speaks about between grade 5 and grade 7.
So I've had a lot of support and learned a lot from Christy Herselman. She's a Durban-based author and speaker and facilitator. And she does well-connected workshops and talks for parenting. And Paul Bushell, amazing psychologist and parenting advocate, he does technology. You guys have conversations and workshops about technology and kindness. So I think that, as a mom, I'm always looking for people who are better qualified, have got the research, have done the work, like Paul, like Christy. Jane and our mums before anything else, and we're going to pop resources that help parents, that help anyone raising kids to do well. And there are people in our community who are so passionate about that and so smart about it, like Paul and Christy. So go and see what they're doing. Their links will be on our Instagram and in the show notes of this podcast.
And Jess and I are so hell-bent on creating a space for us to connect, to share, and as always, just to reiterate that you are doing better than you think you are, A, and B, you're not alone. We're all struggling along here in this beautiful mess. And I think, if we can just show up in our day, I'm such a huge believer in progress, not perfection. If today is better than yesterday was, or this morning was better than last evening, just keep going.
If you are looking for a next step, the first thing we would recommend is go to our Instagram, jane.and.jess. And the reason we want you to go there is two things. The one thing is that we're going to put practical tools. The second thing is, and Jane said it, you're not alone. Come and hang out with us. We're showing up there. Mm-hmm. Other women are showing up there. We're there to support each other, cheer each other on, tell each other our stories. We're all navigating a beautiful mess, whether it's our relationships, our parenting, our workplace, our friendships, our finances. We are navigating a beautiful mess. And Jane and I want to help find yourself in the mess, that you're not alone, and discover the beauty that is there and available to you and in you.
To connect, you can email tbmwithjaneandjess@gmail.com. That's tbm with JANE and JESS @gmail.com. If you're looking for an inspirational event, an engaging workshop or practical webinar, or if you just want to say how's it and share your story, we'd love to hear from you. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook under TBM with Jane and Jess. Life is beautiful. Life is messy. You are not alone. Jess, until we connect again, so much love to you. And I love the concept of come and sit with us.
Lots of love,
darling.
Bye.
Go well.